would do something different on my channel and just share with you guys a story that is very real to me and very true. And this really did happen to me in my life. And this is basically the story about how I found God and how I developed my relationship with God. This is going to be a pretty long video, so if you guys, want to know, I suggest you just kind of stick around, get some popcorn, and listen to this story. Just a disclaimer also, if you are not a believer or someone who does not believe in God, I don't want you to leave the channel because maybe I could change your mind, you never know. But please just refrain from leaving me some crazy comments under my video, because if you do, I'm just going to block you or delete it. I'm totally open to people having their own opinion, which is totally fine, but I'm not open to disrespect. So if you disrespect me, I'm gonna delete you, just FYI, or if you leave something crazy, I'm gonna block you. And that's pretty much it. I don't really mind that people have their own beliefs. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to push my beliefs on anyone. I just wanna share my story and my testimony for those of you who are believers and for people who might need some guidance or something in their lives. So I just wanna talk about what God has done for me, which is like so much. I mean, it's really a long list. This would be a 20-hour video probably. So I'm just gonna keep it short and simple and kind of highlight the big things in my life that God has done and that has brought me closer to Him. It all started when I was a little girl. I always kind of had a connection with the other side, I'll say. I never really knew when I was younger that it was fully God. I just kind of knew that I had a connection with the other side. I could always sense things, feel things, see spirits. That stuff has always been in my life. I've always been able to see things. So it was always just, I had a different childhood growing up. I mean, I obviously as a kid, I was a normal kid and stuff like that. I played and stuff, but I could always see things. But it didn't become real to me until I got older. As a teenager, I would experience things, but I didn't know what it was. It would just freak me out, and I would just kind of not talk about it or leave it alone. But then when I turned 18, that's when everything changed, and it became very real to me. So I just kind of want to start with that story. It all just started when I was in college. I was living in California, and my mom had also moved to California with the kids, and everybody was kind of just living out there. I lived in the dorms, but occasionally I would stay at my mom's house, and I had done that. To start the story off, the kids' room, there were always issues in there. Like the kids always had a hard time sleeping in their room. They could never sleep through the night. They would have nightmares, and at the time my siblings were like 4 and 2, I believe. So, they're little kids, so we didn't know, and maybe they just can't sleep. Maybe they're just having nightmares, I don't know. So one night I spent the night over at my mom's house, and I slept in the kids' room, and I couldn't sleep. Same situation as the kids. And I looked up, and I saw spirits, like demons actually, above the beds. And I couldn't do anything. I was trying to call for my mom, and I couldn't speak. Nothing was coming out, and I was just freaking out, because I'm like, what is going on? So I actually started praying to God, and I was just like saying the blood of Jesus and a prayer that I knew, and immediately, maybe like 5 minutes later, not immediately, but a couple minutes later, I felt it felt like my soul kind of just like went back into my body. I don't know. I could breathe and I could move and I could talk again. A lot of people call it sleep paralysis. I don't know what the proper term for it is. I don't know if there is a proper term, but it happened to me, and I got up and I went in my mom's room. I woke her up and I told her what happened, and she was just like, what? And I was like, there's something in there. And I could always see spirits, but that was my first time ever seeing something clear as day. So it really freaked me out, and I was just like, Mom, I'm scared, I can't go back to sleep. So I didn't go back to sleep. I kind of just stayed up all night, and the next day I called one of my friends because she had the number to a minister. This woman used to walk around campus, and she would minister to us. I lived at the dorms, so she would always kind of be outside of the dorms. It's kind of random, but she always was out there, and she had like a suitcase, and she would just walk around. I assumed that she was a student, like going to college, but she was like an older woman. She was mainly there just to talk to us and kind of minister to us. She had given us her phone number in the past, but I didn't have it, so I called a friend, got her number from her, and she said she would come over later that night and see what was going on. But fast forward to later in the day, after that night had happened, we had all gone out to dinner. It was my mom, my siblings, one of my really close friends from school. We had all went out to dinner, and when we came back home, I had gone upstairs in the kids' room. And in their room, they used to have stickers, like letter stickers. You know how you can like spell a word out with little letter stickers to kind of teach kids how to spell and stuff? Well, they had those stickers. Well, they were up on the wall when I came back in the room, and they said death. Like the word spelled out death. So I thought maybe one of the kids had done it, but then I realized that my siblings were way too young to spell, and it was way too high up on the wall for a child to do something like that. So I immediately knew that it was the demons or spirits in the room. They had positioned the letters on the wall to the word death, and it said death from DJ. I don't know who DJ was, but that's what it said. So it completely freaked us out, and I called my mom upstairs. I called everyone upstairs and said, come look. And they thought that I had done it to be funny, and I'm like, no, I didn't do this. This was here when I came in. So we immediately got completely freaked out, and I called this woman, and she came to our house, and she immediately came after that because we were all freaked out. And her name was Mrs. Dorothy. She was the sweetest old lady, sweetest woman ever. And she said she was a minister and everything like that. And she pretty much anointed us with all of us with oil. That night we accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as our personal Savior and all those things, because we did have demons in our home and they did need to be cast out of the home. So in order for that to happen, we all kind of had to be saved. So she basically anointed all of us so that they couldn't attach themselves. Because from what I know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I believe demons can attach themselves to people or objects or something like that. And I wasn't exactly sure, but when you can also invite them into your home, inviting the wrong people. So be very careful who you invite into your home. You know, a lot of people do carry demons with them, so you have to be careful who you invite in your home. That's key. That's like one of the key things I've learned about life. I don't let everybody over my house, because I've experienced this too many times. So that happened. She opened all the windows in the house, and she began to cast them out. And she knew their names. I mean, she described them. It's exactly what I saw is what she saw. And she cast them all out of the home. It was crazy how much she knew, and she knew who they were. It was really scary. And then she began speaking in tongues, and it was just a crazy night. And I actually was happy that a friend was there with me besides my own family, someone I actually knew outside of family, to experience this with me, because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy, that this was really happening. And it's funny because we've never really spoken about it after that night and the weeks after, but it's just something that really did happen to us. So once they were cast out of the home, she began to talk to us, and we were standing up one by one, and she talked to us one by one. She began to tell us that she's not God, she's just someone that God uses to talk to people and tell them things and send them messages and things like that. So she just basically called herself a prophet. So she began to talk to us one by one and just tell us about our lives, like me, my siblings, not the little ones, but the older ones. I have one older sister and my best friend, and then my mom was there. So she talked to all of us about our lives and things like that, and she was 100% on point with what was going on in my life at the moment. So I knew that she was real, one, because I saw demons, so I knew that this was really happening and this was a real situation, and that she really was who she said she was, and that God really was talking to me, because she told me things that only I would know and only God would know. So she really did help me. She also told me things about my future. Not too much about the future, but just like vague things, but things that have completely come true about in my life in general. Like, she told me about me becoming a writer one day, and I was like, a writer? I want to be a writer? What is this lady talking about? But here I am, lo and behold, I'm an editor for a magazine. So it happened. So a lot of the things that she told me were going to happen are happening and have happened. Ever since that day, I had accepted Jesus as my personal Savior. And she pretty much just told us that we all had gifts, and she told me I had the gift of sight and I could see things, speak to people, all that. She told me I had the gift to be able to do what she does. I mean, it has not fully happened to me yet. Maybe I have to grow in my spirituality for those things to happen. I can very well see spirits. I can see things like that. I can feel things like that. If I can walk into a room and just sense energy and feel if someone in the room is not of God, I can just feel those things. I kind of just know those things. It's kind of crazy. The older I get and the stronger my relationship with God gets, it gets stronger. So I wanted to share this because I know a lot of people don't believe, and I know a lot of people think that this stuff is just like crazy talk, but it's really not. It's really not, guys. I promise you. Demons and spirits and all that stuff is so real, and I've experienced and seen it all in my 29 years of living, and I promise you, if you don't know the Lord, you need to know the Lord. So if you haven't accepted Jesus, I really think you guys should. I mean, I'm not pressuring you guys, but it's definitely something you should consider. If you don't know the Lord, talk to someone who you think does, or go to a local church, or try and find out your own way, your own path. It's very hard to push people to do things like that. I have a hard time sometimes because people think I'm crazy and they're just like, oh, not another one of you. But honestly, guys, I mean, if I had not gone through what I'd gone through, I'd probably be just like you guys. Even though I grew up in church, I was always one of those people that needed tangible evidence. Well, God gave it to me. He gave me real evidence that he was real. And it scared the crap out of me growing up, but it's something that I needed to see for myself. And I saw it for myself. And if you just ask God to come into your life and show you that he is real, he will do that. I promise you. And he did that for me. He did that for me. I mean, all you have to do is just say, hey, God, if you're real, show me. And he will show you somehow, some way, but you really truly have to want to know that. You have to believe. I mean, it's hard because as a Christian you walk by faith and not by sight. So people are going to say, well, I don't believe you, or I need more. And that's kind of how I was. I always needed more. I needed evidence. With anything in life, I just needed more. And he gave it to me. And God does things for me that are very blatant in my life. So there was a time once when I was in New York City with my sister. We were in Soho, and I had gone down into the subway, and I think I didn't have a card on me. And at the time, machines only took cards, and I had only had cash. So I was kind of screwed. So my sister had already gone through the turnstile because she already had her Metro card because she lived in the city. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any money. Oh my gosh, I only have cash. I don't have my card on me. And she was just like, if you wait a few minutes, you could use the Metro card again. That was like a myth though, because we tried it and it didn't work. So it might work, but it didn't work for us at the time. So I was just like, I don't want to jump the thing. There were cops there, so I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, oh, come back through. And the train was coming. So she was like, I think she had like 2 turns left on, I don't know. It was just crazy. So we were sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, she's on one side of the train thing and I'm on the other. And I only had cash on me. So there was nobody in the booth to get a card from. So I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So I'm standing there and the train comes and I'm just like, okay, what do we do? And this man gets off the train and he walks up to me and hands me his Metro card. Man, I don't know this man from a can of paint. Never saw him a day in my life. Walks up to me and says, here, you need this. And I was like, me and my sister, our eyes got bigger and my mouth dropped and I said, huh? And he said, this is for you. You need a Metro card? And I said, yeah. And he said, take it. It's okay. And I walked up and I swiped his Metro card, and I went and got on the train. And I just sat there and I started tearing up, and my sister was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, that was God. God sent that man, because he got off the train and gave me a card. He didn't know I didn't have a card. I could have just been some woman standing there waiting for someone or something. Like, he had no idea I did not have a Metro card. There was no way he could have known that unless God sent him. So he just got off the train and handed me a Metro card and was like, here, this is for you. Like, he gave it to me like he knew me. So that to me was another moment where God was just kind of like, hey, I'm here, I exist, you know, that type of thing. So I thought that was really cool. I was just in shock, and I was just thanking God all night long, because it was just one of the most amazing experiences I had ever had. So it's crazy how real God is. Like, I just wanted to kind of share those two stories with you guys. I've had a lot of other times where things have happened to me where I've seen spirits and seen things like that, and it's just been like very obvious and very blatant, but they would be like in a whole nother video. But if you guys are interested in hearing these stories, let me know. I don't have a problem with sharing my my experiences, I guess, with you guys, of how I've seen spirits or God or talk to God or ghosts or any of that kind of stuff. I would love to share these things with you guys. It's just hard because of the world we live in now. I don't know what response I'm gonna get. So this video for me was very nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure how you guys were going to respond to this, but I just wanted to share these stories because these are things that have happened to me where God has shown me he was truly, truly real. I was borderline depression recently, so I understand that we all go through ups and downs. Even when you know the Lord, you're still gonna fall. You're still gonna fall off track. I do all the time. I'm not perfect. By all means, I'm not perfect at all. I fall off the wagon a lot, but he's always there to pick me right back up and kind of just guide me along the way. And I've just found that he never fails me. God never fails me. He's always there, and he always shows me that everything's gonna be okay. And recently, I really needed that because I was kind of losing that that connection that I had because I was allowing anger and stress to take over my life. And I had stopped filming videos. I don't know if you guys have noticed, my nose keeps itching. That's not what I meant, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I kind of fell off from filming videos for a while because I was going through so much in my personal life that it was affecting my personality. And I didn't want to show that to you guys. I didn't want you guys to see me like angry and depressed because that's not the type of person that I normally am. But I had allowed life situations to affect my personality and affect who I am. And I recently went to church one day and I just let it all out. And I broke down and I cried and I just talked to God, and he talked back to me and he let me know that it's gonna be okay, just let it go and give it to him. And I did. And ever since then, I've been in a happier place. I've been putting out videos all week like crazy for you guys just because I feel like I need to just reconnect with my audience and get back out here and start filming again and talking to you. So I just wanted to just let you guys know that to keep holding on. The God is there, and if you're going through something, he's not going anywhere. He's there, he's right there. He might be quiet, but just remember the teacher's always quiet during the test. So that's something that I've learned. If you are in the valley right now, God is just setting you up for something bigger. I truly, truly believe that. And I feel like the key to everything when it comes to God is your believing. How much do you really truly believe that he's going to come through for you? Remember, you speak things into existence. So your tongue, what you say, can pretty much manifest. So just be careful of how you speak. Only speak positivity. Speak positive things. Even if you're the most angry person in the world at that moment, try your best to be positive and don't think negative thoughts. Like, I had to completely change my mindset in order for things to change for me in the past couple weeks because I was just so upset about life at the moment. And I realized that my life isn't that bad. There's people going through worse things in life, and I'm just going through one of those rough patches in life that everyone goes through because I was so used to being up here and God keeping me up here that he had to humble me a little bit and bring me back down to earth and just let me know, like, hey girl, you can go through it too. And he did, and it really did help. Like, it helped, and it's just helping to mold me into the person that I am becoming, and it's just helping me become a better person in general, and I'm truly thankful for that. Everything happens for a reason, and God does everything for a reason and on his own time. So just be patient, hold on, and if you're going through something, you know, don't let go. Just keep holding on. I know it's hard. You might not see what's on the other side, but I promise you there's something better on the other side. Even for me, I'm going through it right now. I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know what's going to be there, but I promise you, I know that God is going to be there and that whatever he has for me is what's best for me. So it's really about just having